Hi, I'm Tony Bruno from 97.5 The Fanatic, and you're watching Sports Talk with Mike Yellick and Dustin the Dust Pastula.
All right, everybody, welcome to Sports Talk. We're week number 4. I'm your host, Mike Yellick, the champ, I guess. I mean, I don't have the belt anymore, but alongside Dustin Pastula and our new guest host, who you can introduce.
I will introduce. This is a good friend of mine. This is Jared Howard. Jared, say hello to the folks outside
Hello.
there.
Nice to be on the show.
This is a watcher of the show. He's a fan, just like all of you.
Yes,
Just
but
like all of
he's
you.
pre-screened. We pre-screened, so not anyone can come on the show and host with us. Just pointing that out.
Okay.
Now, what do we want to get started with this week's topics, or do we want to go right to what Peyton Manning said last night?
Well, honestly, we could just make that part of the topics we discuss.
Okay.
So, Peyton Manning had a couple words to say about the upcoming game between the Eagles and the Broncos. And so, being an Eagles fan, Mike.
First of all, he said, it's nice of the NFL to give, the Eagles 12 days and us 6, but I guess that's just how it goes. Number one, your math is wrong, Peyton. Number two, didn't you open on a Thursday night and then have 10 days to play? Can you shut up and let me, and don't be rude?
Sure.
10 days. Not 12. 10 days. And you didn't hear your little brother at the Giants complaining about anything, so you know what? Knock it off. Stop. You're being a crybaby now. And you know what? I do like Peyton Manning as a quarterback. And I do like Peyton Manning as a person, too. But I think that just showed last night, the Eagles are in his head. And I'm going to begin with breaking news right off the show. I don't know why I woke up this morning and I got a feeling Eagles can win this game. Eagles can win this game.
In Philadelphia?
It's at the Broncos. I do not care. Eagles can win this game. And it's in the Peyton Manning said clearly since he's making up excuses already.
I mean, going right into Eagles can win this game, the Eagles are having some trouble, and now I want to take it to you, Jared. First of all, what do you think about Peyton Manning, what he said? And second of all, what do you think about the game in itself?
I think Peyton Manning, he has the right for what he can say. He's a 4-time MVP in this league, and he can say whatever. I believe the Broncos are end up gonna score 42 plus points against Philadelphia. They might end up scoring 30 points, but that's not gonna be enough to stop Denver.
I just think everyone's, smelling Peyton Manning now, and they're like, oh, they're kissing his butt. I don't care.
I'm gonna.
They are
you know what? I'm gonna leeway between that. I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna agree with him. I do agree that I feel like he's getting a whiff of how much everybody loves him right now, so he feels empowered to
He
say
can't do
what he
anything
feels.
wrong.
Right. So he feels godlike right now. But I also do agree in the fact that he's allowed to say whatever he wants, and his reasonings for saying that. I mean, none of us can know. We're not in his head. But I mean,
I just like the fact.
I also have to agree with Jared on his prediction of the game.
I just like the fact that the Eagles should have won that San Diego game, but they lost against the Chiefs, they lost against the Chiefs. So now everyone's looking at them like, they stink, and this will be an easy game for Denver. It's at Denver. Denver doesn't even need time to prepare their game. It's a trap game for Denver, and I really like the Eagles in this game. I really do.
You can be right because there's always that element where a team goes into another team's hometown to play them, and that hometown team is like, this team ain't got nothing. We don't got to go as hard.
Yep.
They don't give it their 100%, and the other team does. And when the other team starts winning, the home team can't seem to catch their tread.
And I think at halftime, there's a chance it could be 17-3 Eagles, and then obviously the Broncos rally back, and then it becomes a blowout. But
it's a bold prediction.
If the Eagles can score points against that Bronco defense, which they're okay, they're solid, but they're not that good.
I'll tell you what, if the Eagles can get that offense they had in the first week, I think
DRC is on the team. They can't be that good.
Well, I think the Eagles, they don't have enough corners or safeties to stop Welker, Decker, and Demaryius Thomas and those guys.
I have to agree with that.
I agree with that, but
flat out. Yeah,
they have?
If the Eagles lose by a lot, it will be the
I don't think
defense.
they will. But do the Broncos have enough to stop the Chip Kelly offense? What if it's like it was the first 2 quarters of this season against the Redskins? What if we do that on offense? Are the Broncos going to be able to stop
We
that?
haven't seen that for 2.5 games.
Well,
I get
Denver,
that, but-
they showed that they can stop an athletic quarterback. They just played Terrell Pryor the other
Yeah,
night.
he stinks. Yeah, he stinks.
Says the guy who
He stinks.
earlier in this season was saying,
Yeah, you know,
he's pretty good.
I thought he was
Yeah.
against the Colts, and then I saw the last 2 games. He stinks. He shouldn't even be in the NFL.
Well, for the
so.
sake of time, we're being told to move on to the next topic. So the next topic is going to be there are a few undefeated teams. We have
Chiefs.
the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Broncos, Chiefs, Bears, Saints, and the Seahawks. Out of
Seahawks.
all these teams, from both of you, who is the most impressive team and is most likely to continue their undefeated streak this week?
Out of all those
Out
teams,
of all those teams, you pick one.
pick one. I know who I'm going with.
Who?
First name Russell, last name Wilson. Seahawks, because they are incredible at what they do. Granted, this week they played the high school team, but I still think the Seahawks have what it takes, if anybody does, to stay undefeated the longest. With that home field they have there, the 12th man, and everything they have going for them, they have a good running game, they have an amazing defense, they have a great quarterback. I have to go Seahawks.
Okay. Jared?
Besides Denver, I would say the Miami Dolphins are impressing me because Ryan Tannehill, he's also a young quarterback. He's been in the same draft as Russell Wilson. Not that many people eye on him because of RG3 and Andrew Luck and all those guys.
Right, he's
Wait a
overshadowed.
minute, hold
He's
on,
overshadowed.
Jared. You're saying Miami out of all those teams?
This
Right.
week.
Miami?
This week. I said who continues their
All right,
streak
well, let's go with the
this
next question
week.
then. Who continues the streak the longest out of those teams?
That was the next question. Just because I don't just sit here and read questions, I'm going to go with the Broncos staying undefeated this week because I don't know how many people notice this, but they play the offense for the Broncos. They always play the same way and have this roughly the same setup throughout the entire first half. Halftime comes, opposing team goes in the locker room, prepares for the offense. They come back out to a different formation. It confused the Raiders like crazy, as it did for the first.
Mike Yellick
2
is saying the
games.
Seahawks. Seahawks are both, actually.
There you go.
Really.
My personal opinion for who continues the longest is also the Seahawks. I think
Okay.
that they have a format that is right now unbeatable.
Yeah.
That's true. I believe New England throughout the regular season and probably playoffs will be the best team that's 3-0 right now.
New England? Are you serious?
You see,
Why?
New England?
Well, why now? Why?
Tom Brady's is thrown to no one right now. Wait
They
till
barely
Gronk
beat the
gets
Jets.
back, Amendola gets back. They're just going to be
But wait a
unstoppable.
minute. Hold on, Jared. They barely beat the Jets.
Thursday night, raining game.
It doesn't matter. What if you
It's a
have another
rivalry
rating game?
Jets have a great defense. They have
Look
Look at the last game. They beat the Bills by 2.
But in his defense, rival games, you always kind of throw the record out of the books.
Seattle beat Carolina by 5.
Yeah, that was the first week, though. I mean, I'm gonna just say that's because it was
Alright,
the
then,
first
so
week.
And you just said the Bills just.
All right, the Jets then.
All right, it's a rival game. Every rival game is close.
They have not looked good at all. Tom Brady is getting mad on the sideline. He's throwing interceptions. That's not like Tom Brady. I don't understand the pick of the Patriots. There.
But
I just don't.
here's the thing. He does get mad. They have a lot of dissension right now. But even with this dissension, they're still winning. What about when they finally start to pick up the pace and actually get back?
Are
in
they
the fight?
going to? Is the question.
He's saying when he gets his targets back.
And their defense
Which is true.
Their defense is really underrated.
I'm starting to think they can't just take players away and plug other players in because Amendola is nowhere near Wes Welker. They are definitely missing Wes
Okay.
Welker right now.
All right, but they're still 3-0. Wins are wins.
They're
And
3-0,
Wait
but
till Gronk comes back. He's the second best.
out
tight end
of
in the
all
league.
Gronk, yeah, out of all those teams right there, I actually, and I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I think the Patriots are the least likely to remain 3-0 out of those
I don't
players
believe that
right
at
there.
all.
Who do you think then out of those?
I don't believe before the Patriots. I will say just regular season alone, no playoffs.
Yes.
Before the Patriots, you will see the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and possibly even the Bears with a worse record than the Patriots.
Bears. Why?
Worst
Bears are like the second best team in there.
Yeah, but
Honestly, but who have they really played?
They played the Lions.
Right.
Or no, they're gonna be playing the Lions.
Minnesota.
Minnesota has a quarterback who can't throw.
And the third game was the Steelers.
Could be the worst offense.
They
in the league.
haven't
So,
played anybody.
Year in
They
and year
have
out.
they have not had a legitimate test.
you could say that about the Broncos though too. Really, I mean, the Giants.
You can, but you have to also look at the style of the Broncos, how they're playing, and how bad they're beating teams. The Bears are not badly beating teams. They're just beating mediocre teams.
Can I say something real quick? Here's why I think the Eagles can beat the Broncos. Because what was the halftime score at that Giants game? 7-6. They only scored 7 points in the whole first half.
Look at what they did in the second half.
I get that part.
60 minutes of football.
I know.
Yeah,
but-
and you also have to look at how the Eagles lately, even in the games that they lost, have been playing worse in the second half than the first half.
It's true. I'm still intrigued to see it though.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to another topic. This topic, we're reversing it. There's a few 0-3 teams. Bucks, Vikings,
Please say it.
Redskins,
Please say it.
Giants, Steelers,
Go ahead.
and the Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Out of these teams, part one of the question is,
I already know.
which one more likely turns it around?
Oh.
Which team is more likely? Let's add to the question. Maybe this will make it a little easier. Which out of these teams can not only turn their season around but end up with a winning season?
What were the teams again? I heard the
The
some.
Bucks, the Vikings, the Redskins, the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Steelers.
Okay, I'm gonna say two of those teams possibly. The Redskins, if RG3 just gets it, come on, what are you doing? If RG3 gets healthy and they're back to the real RG3,
He's a leg and a half, but that's okay.
then but their defense is terrible. You know what? I'm gonna say what I was originally gonna say. The Vikings, if they get a quarterback that can throw, oh my God, that team would be right in the playoffs. I'd be picking them. They could be 10-6. They're working out Dante Culpepper and AJ Feely this week.
Brett Favre has been told he can come
Brett
back.
Favre was also told by his agent that he still got it and he's in the best shape of his life.
Oh, he is.
So,
Midlife crisis.
but you know what? Honestly, Brett Favre coming back
Still
in there
better
for
than
Christian Ponder, he's terrible.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
terrible.
True.
So I'm going to say the Vikings can turn around if they get a quarterback.
Jared.
I believe the New York Football Giants. The reason is Eli Manning. He always can turn it around come November and December. They showed in their previous Super Bowl runs they can get hot in December and end up going
That's
in
a
the
very
playoffs
good point.
8-8 and winning the Super
That's a
Bowl.
very good point.
Can I tell you right now why
that
it won't be the
exact
Giants?
that exact season where they went 8-8 and won the Super
That's
Bowl?
fine, that's not
they
this
start. They did they not also start out 0-3? I believe.
No. The last time they were 0-3 was 1996.
Oh, okay. Well, they have had losing records before and came back.
Here's the reason why the Giants won't do that. The same reason. Eli Manning. He just doesn't have it this year. I'm looking at him throw. I watched the Carolina game. That was that was hard.
Yeah, but honestly,
No,
But now, wait a
Eli
minute.
Manning,
Wait a minute. You and I have even talked in previous seasons
Okay.
of Sports Talk about Eli Manning doesn't have it. He's not as good as his brother.
he
He's
is.
not going to
He's
do
nowhere near
anything.
his brother.
And one of those seasons he won the Super Bowl. And we were saying he
The
sucked
defense- the
the
defense won
entire
the Super
season.
Bowl.
We said he sucks. When they went into the playoffs 8-8, we were like, "There's no way they're going to go anywhere." They won.
you
just
can't
don't- I
spell
don't see it.
elite without Eli. And
Oh, stop it! Stop it! Stop!
and
Please.
you're complaining about Eli Manning, but the Vikings
I'm not complaining. I don't
Christian,
care. He
with Christian
stinks.
Ponder, and you're saying if they get a quarterback,
Yeah,
the
but they have
Giants
a good-
a quarterback with 2 Super Bowl.
They have a
rings
running
under his
game, the Vikings. The Giants have no running game. Wilson, yeah, he's good.
They don't
What do you
have
have?
a running
10 carries for 8 yards?
belt. Brandon Jacobs was never.
Stop it! Stop it! Don't bring up Brandon Jacobs like he's still got it. He stinks. Stop. Brandon
No.
Jacobs. Give me. What are you gonna bring back? Earth, Wind, and Fire? Come on.
They
Where's
do-
Ahmad Bradshaw?
Coaching wise,
Earth, Wind, and Fire does do
Stop.
reunion tours frequently. So
coaching
Yeah.
wise, New York has a better advantage. Tom Coughlin
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
take him over
Oh, yeah.
Les Frazier.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't
Okay.
matter that.
well,
Moving
I
on.
guess moving on. Moving on. There's a player in the NFL that received a phone call from a friend asking why he was traded. Problem about this is the player who got the phone call did not know he was traded. Trent Richardson from the Browns was at home
Yeah.
just watching TV, doing nothing, gets a phone call asking him why he was traded. This is news to him. And it turns out he was traded to the Colts. Which team benefits best from this trade?
Well, I was gonna say the Colts, but did you see the Browns play this week? I mean, the Browns look like they could be could I really say this? Could the Browns actually be a decent to good team in the NFL? I mean, they've beaten the Vikings, and they also beat, who's the other team they beat? Can't remember now. The Bills. No.
I think they're 1-2.
Yeah, no, they're 2-1.
Are they?
The Browns are 2-1.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna look that up and get back to you in the next segment. But I cannot believe the Browns actually could go 8-8 or stronger this year. I really believe that.
I
And
disagree with that.
Brandon Hoyer, I mean, look at him.
I disagree with that.
Why is that?
I think the Colts completely won on this trade because they're a team that's in the running and contenders in the AFC. And with the 1-2
Yeah,
punch,
but they're that without him.
the 1-2 punch, Trent Richardson and Ahmad Bradshaw, that's just going to be an unstoppable offense for the years to come.
You could be right, but I just feel like, at least in my view, the Browns right now, and I know this isn't going to last, and I get that part, but the Browns right now could plug anyone in and do good and win.
Against the Vikings.
That's fine. The Vikings don't have that bad of a defense, though. Really, they don't. And they have a good running. The Browns have a good defense, and they always have. It's just their offense that's terrible. Brandon Weeden should not be a quarterback, but their Browns' defense is good. They really are.
They are, but their defense is not affected by this trade. It's the
No.
offense.
But
And you
it doesn't
know,
matter. I don't think.
I
Trent
feel
Richardson was
here's
the
the
best player.
here's the thing, and I agree with that. And I feel like this is what happened. This is why they won. First of all, reason one, they played the Vikings. Reason two, and for exactly what you just said, the Browns have a good defense, and they played Christian Ponder. So that's why they
That's
won.
terrible.
But as far as offensively speaking, with the loss of Trent Richardson, he probably was their best player. And, they don't really have anyone to fill that spot. And I think that they wanted to prove something. They wanted to prove that they didn't
Well-
need him. So they were riding somewhat of a high. And that's why they won. That high is not going to last. Okay? And
It
trust
might.
me, I smoked a lot in my day, and it never lasts.
I'm sure you did. How about this? And it's not even on our rundown, but I'm going to say it anyway, just because it's your team. What's going on? Those Titans look pretty darn good, don't they?
They do.
Is it going to
They
last?
sure do.
I texted you the other night. We were texting each other.
Absolutely
And
not.
I said to him, it's good for now, but it won't last. LOL. And he said, LOL. I forget something else.
I agree.
Maybe on the
That's what I
set.
said.
Yeah. It's not. But the Titans right now are they look good.
And you know what?
Jake Locker's doing it.
Honestly, they could go 8-8, but
Yeah.
I think that's the best
That's an
outcome for
improvement.
them.
So
I mean, that's the best outcome for them. If they do better, obviously, I'm going to be happy.
Right.
Do I want to be wrong? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean,
It's a tough
we-
division.
yeah, we have to be real. And our last topic, just to wrap this segment up,
okay.
with the addition today of our new host over here, we have a Saints fan in the house, but.
Who dat?
Oh, please.
The Saints are 3-0, but so are the teams that they're playing for the next 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
They have the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and then the Bears.
I almost feel like this is like wrestling, where Vince comes out and throws a challenge out to somebody that's hot right now and goes, "If you can get through the Dolphins, then you'll get to play who else?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs, and then if you beat the Chiefs, who's next?
The Bears.
Then you can play the almighty Bears.
The Bears.
And then you can be 6-0. And if they do that, I think it ends at the Bears. I think they will beat those first two teams,
Here's
but-
the thing. Yes, that's my next question, and I'm going to throw this to
5-1.
Jared. I'm going to throw this to Jared first. Which is more likely? Out of the two, you can't pick 5-1, 4-2, 3-3, or 6-0.
I believe 6-0. I think they're gonna easily beat Miami. They lost their best defender, Cameron Wake, to an injury.
That's right. He is out.
New Orleans
Possibly
always
for the
plays
season.
great at home during prime time. I don't think the Chiefs will be able to score and keep up with the
I
New
agree.
Orleans Saints. And I'm
And
not
I-
sold on the Bears that much.
Why?
Probably for the same reason I'm not sold on the Bears. They haven't played anybody. They haven't had a test. They haven't had a real test. And I'm going to call it right now. The Bears will not be undefeated by the time the Saints get to them.
The Bears.
They won't be undefeated by the time the Saints get to them.
I don't know. I think the Bears are a
They
good
might
team.
even be
You're
3-2.
underestimating them. The Packers are 1-2. Lions are, what are the Lions? I don't know.
Lions are 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
They're 2-1.
Yep.
And then we have the Vikings. Who else? I don't even know who's that. Packers. They're 1-2.
You said that
So
already.
who else? Vikings, Lions, Packers. Who's the other
Lions
team?
are
Bears.
2-1.
Oh, Bears. Yeah. So I think the Bears are easily the best team in that division. Who is?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. 1-2. Green Bay is better than 3-0 Packers.
They lost to
3-0
two really good teams. Cincinnati is a legit competitor.
I just
And
San Francisco, they lost.
San Francisco, they had a bad week. But
No. How many weeks we're gonna have bad weeks with them?
They're
They
a good
suck.
team. They're a good
No, they're
team.
not.
They'll still win that division.
No, they over the Seahawks. You're on crack. You're seriously, you're on crack. Like how can you sit here and tell me that?
I
Like,
can't go with that.
yeah, no.
You're right. You're
Yeah, there we go. All right, then. I'm right. Another
Okay,
thing
we
though
do have
about
a rule
that.
on this show. You're never allowed to tell him you're right. You just have to argue it.
Alright.
You can never tell him he's right. He doesn't
No.
need any more in his head.
Listen, Colin Kaepernick, and I said it in the first episode this year, he's not good. And what have we seen the last 2 weeks? He sucks. He sucks. He cannot play. Alex Smith,
No,
San Francisco should be calling
That's
you.
not true. Wait, let me finish before you interrupt. Colin Kaepernick can play. He isn't playing.
the thing is,
He showed last postseason
It's
and in the
7
Super
games.
Bowl
Correct.
that he
Correct.
can play.
God, it's 7
Okay.
games.
And at the end of this regular season, he can play. Right now, he's not playing.
He's missing Michael.
Even your
Crabtree.
boy Donovan McNabb went into areas where he couldn't play. That doesn't mean he didn't have the ability to.
Don McNabb made it happen with Todd Pinkston and James Thrash.
That's not what I said.
So Anquan Bolden. I mean, how many receivers do you need? You have Anquan Bolden. You have what's the other guy's name?
Yeah,
Thomas.
The Eagles did have a great defense back then.
Yeah, and so do the Niners.
Yeah, but I would pick the Eagles defense.
You would?
The
A lot of people would.
But
the
that
whole
Eagles
Alden-
defense over this 49ers defense.
We had a better defensive
The
coordinator,
whole
Jim Johnson,
Alden
but
Smith. The whole
Well,
Alden
one player
Smith
is not gonna make a
situation,
big difference
They lost
here.
Deshaun Goldston. He's playing
Yeah.
in Tampa Bay now.
I mean, I don't think the 49ers are good. I really don't. I think they're a weak team, really disorganized, and I think it's going to come back to bite them, and they're not going to make the playoffs.
Well,
But
I think that's all we have time for in the first segment.
we will be back on Sports Talk right after this.